What if the key to healing and happiness was accepting yourself exactly as you are? Imagine letting go of self-judgment and embracing life with open arms. Today, we're diving into Tara Brach's transformative book, Radical Acceptance, where we'll explore how practicing compassion and mindfulness can free you from the chains of perfectionism and self-doubt. In this video, we'll break down the essential teachings from each chapter, sharing practical steps to help you cultivate self-compassion and live with greater peace and freedom. If you're ready to experience radical self-love and acceptance, make sure to subscribe for more life-changing insights on embracing your true self. Imagine walking through life feeling inadequate or flawed. This is what Tara Brach calls the trance of unworthiness. It's a state shaped by early experiences and societal pressures, where we believe we're not good enough. Many of us live in this cycle of self-judgment, allowing it to cloud our perceptions. The key to breaking free is recognizing that these thoughts aren't facts, but conditioned responses. Tara suggests starting with a simple pause. When self-critical thoughts arise, take a breath and observe them. This practice creates space to reclaim your true self and break the hold of unworthiness. Picture this. You're about to give a presentation, and doubt floods your mind. You stop, take a breath, and recognize these thoughts as part of the trance. By pausing, you disrupt the cycle and step forward with renewed confidence. In summary, awareness and a moment of pause can begin to unravel this deeply rooted self-judgment. Principle number 1 is the trance of unworthiness, recognizing the cycle of self-judgment and reclaiming your true self. You've spent years believing you're not enough, but now imagine a new path, the path of radical acceptance. Tara Brach introduces radical acceptance as the antidote to the trance of unworthiness. It's a practice that combines mindful awareness with self-compassion, offering a way to break free from the grip of self-judgment. Radical acceptance doesn't mean passively accepting everything. It's about embracing the present moment as it is, without pushing away difficult emotions or experiences. Brach explains that, through mindfulness, we can learn to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. This opens the door to a deeper sense of self-compassion and the ability to accept ourselves fully, flaws and all. Imagine you're sitting with a friend who's struggling. Instead of offering advice, you simply listen, offering them space to feel without judgment. Now apply that same approach to yourself. Brach suggests techniques like pausing when you notice critical thoughts and gently bringing your awareness to the present. This simple act of compassion towards yourself is the first step in awakening. In summary, radical acceptance is about meeting yourself with kindness and mindfulness in the present moment. Principle number 2 is radical acceptance, the power of mindful awareness and self-compassion in breaking free from self-judgment. Tara Brach introduces the idea of a sacred pause, a deliberate break that allows us to step out of automatic reactivity. This moment of mindful awareness is much like Buddha sitting under the Bodhi tree, where he found enlightenment by simply being present. The sacred pause invites us to rest in the present moment, to observe our emotions and thoughts without rushing to act. Brach emphasizes that this space is where healing begins. By taking this pause, we create a moment of clarity where we can reflect rather than react, allowing deeper self-awareness to emerge. Picture a stressful situation, maybe an argument with someone close to you. Instead of immediately responding, you pause. In this quiet moment, you breathe and observe the emotions rising within. This simple act of resting in presence gives you the space to choose a thoughtful, rather than impulsive response. The pause helps heal both the situation and your inner world. In summary, the sacred pause is a powerful tool to step back from reactivity and find peace in the present. Principle number 3 is the sacred pause, creating space for healing and self-awareness through moments of mindful presence. What if, instead of judging yourself harshly, you treated yourself with the same kindness you offer a friend? Tara Brach introduces the idea of unconditional friendliness toward oneself as a crucial part of radical acceptance. It's about extending warmth and compassion to yourself, especially when you're struggling with feelings of guilt, shame, or unworthiness. Self-compassion is the key to breaking free from these negative cycles. Brach emphasizes that when we meet our pain and suffering with kindness rather than judgment, we begin to heal. This shift in perspective transforms how we experience difficult emotions, allowing us to relate to our pain in a more compassionate way. Imagine a moment when you're feeling overwhelmed by regret or shame. Instead of criticizing yourself, you pause and offer yourself the kindness you'd show to a close friend. In that moment, your relationship with your pain changes. Instead of deepening the wound, your kindness begins to heal it. This practice of unconditional friendliness is what allows us to break the cycle of self-judgment and create space for healing. In summary, self-compassion is the bridge to transforming our relationship with pain and embracing true acceptance. Principle number 4 is unconditional friendliness. The power of self-compassion in breaking cycles of guilt, shame, and unworthiness. In the rush of daily life, we often disconnect from our bodies, living mostly in our heads. Tara Brach emphasizes that coming home to the body is a key part of the healing process. By reconnecting with our physical sensations, we anchor ourselves in the present, which can help reduce mental suffering. Mindfulness of the body allows us to fully experience the here and now. When we feel overwhelmed, paying attention to the body can pull us out of the swirl of thoughts and back into the present. Brach suggests exercises like body scans, where we simply observe the sensations we feel, from tension in the shoulders to the rise and fall of our breath. These simple practices build our awareness of both physical and emotional experiences. Imagine sitting quietly after a stressful day. Instead of being trapped in your thoughts, you bring your focus to your body. You notice your chest tightening, the tension in your muscles, and the rhythm of your breath. By tuning in, you ground yourself in the moment, allowing stress and anxiety to begin releasing. In summary, mindfulness of the body is the foundation for living more fully and reducing the grip of mental suffering. Principle number 5 is coming home to our body, using mindfulness of the body as an anchor for healing and reducing suffering. Desire is often seen as something to control or suppress, especially when it leads to attachment or unfulfilled needs. Tara Brach explores how desire, when left unchecked, can be a source of suffering. But instead of pushing it away, she encourages us to practice radical acceptance of our desires, understanding their deeper roots without judgment. Brach explains that desire itself isn't the problem, it's our attachment to it that causes pain. By acknowledging desire as a natural part of being human, we free ourselves from the need to constantly satisfy it. Instead of being driven by unfulfilled cravings, we can learn to observe these longings with curiosity. This practice reveals the underlying emotions and needs that fuel our desires, helping us to relate to them in a more mindful way. Imagine craving success or approval. Instead of letting that desire control your actions, you take a step back and observe it. You recognize it as a part of yourself, but not the whole. By accepting your desire without trying to force it away or fulfill it immediately, you begin to understand its deeper roots, allowing yourself to act from a place of awareness. In summary, embracing desire without judgment allows us to see it as part of the human experience, rather than a source of suffering. Principle number 6 is radical acceptance of desire. Understanding desire's deeper roots by accepting it as a natural human experience. Fear often builds walls around our hearts, limiting our ability to love and show compassion. Tara Brach explains that fear, when left unchallenged, keeps us closed off and disconnected. But instead of resisting it, Brach invites us to meet fear with mindfulness, self-compassion, and radical acceptance. By doing so, we create space for love and connection to flourish. Rather than avoiding fear, Brach suggests embracing it as a natural part of the human experience. Through mindfulness, we can observe our fears without letting them control us. With self-compassion, we soften the harshness of our inner critic, and with acceptance, we stop fighting the fear, allowing vulnerability to open our hearts. Vulnerability is the key. It's what turns fear from a barrier into a gateway for deeper connection. Think about a time when fear held you back from expressing love or compassion. Instead of shutting down, you could pause, acknowledge the fear, and allow yourself to feel vulnerable. In that vulnerability, your heart opens, and the fear loses its power. This is the practice of transforming fear into an opportunity for love and understanding. In summary, meeting fear with mindfulness and vulnerability helps us open our hearts rather than closing them off. Principle number 7 is opening our heart in the face of fear, using vulnerability and mindfulness to transform fear into love and compassion. Self-compassion is the antidote to self-criticism and self-blame. Tara Brach explains that healing begins when we learn to hold ourselves with the same care we would offer someone we love. This act of self-compassion allows us to become both the holder and the held, offering ourselves the safety and nurturing we need to heal from our inner wounds. Brach encourages creating a safe internal space where we can rest from the harshness of self-judgment. By becoming the gentle, compassionate presence we need, we can quiet the voice of self-blame and open ourselves to healing. This practice is about embracing ourselves with kindness, especially when we're struggling. Picture this: after a difficult day, instead of replaying your mistakes, you pause and offer yourself the compassion you'd give a friend. You hold yourself gently, allowing space for healing rather than criticism. In that moment, you become both the caregiver and the one receiving care, creating a safe internal refuge. In summary, awakening compassion for ourselves is key to breaking free from self-blame and creating a healing space within. Principle number 8 is awakening compassion for ourselves, becoming the gentle presence that holds and heals through self-compassion. Tara Brach teaches that as we develop self-compassion, our natural response is to extend that same compassion to others. This widening of our circles of care reflects the Bodhisattva's path, a commitment to help all beings awaken to their true nature. Through this path, we see the interconnectedness of all life, and compassion becomes not just an internal practice, but one that shapes how we interact with the world. Brach explains that when we truly understand our own struggles and suffering, it's easier to recognize and empathize with others. We no longer see ourselves as separate, but part of a larger whole. This mindset encourages us to act with kindness and love toward all beings, committing to the awakening and well-being of everyone. Imagine this. In your daily life, you begin to notice small ways you can bring kindness to others, whether it's offering a smile, lending a hand, or simply listening without judgment. Each act, no matter how small, becomes a reflection of the compassion you've cultivated within yourself. This is how we widen the circles of compassion, bringing more light to the world. In summary, as we awaken compassion for ourselves, we naturally extend it to others, embracing the interconnectedness of all life. Principle number 9 is widening the circles of compassion, recognizing our interconnectedness and committing to kindness toward all beings. At the core of Tara Brach's teaching is the idea that we all possess an inherent basic goodness. Recognizing this goodness in ourselves and others is essential for cultivating forgiveness and unconditional love. When we connect with our true nature, we see past flaws and mistakes, and begin to nurture a more loving, open heart. Brach explains that seeing this goodness helps us break free from cycles of judgment and resentment. It allows us to forgive ourselves and others by realizing that beneath our struggles, we all share a common humanity. This recognition forms the foundation for deeper compassion and love. She offers meditations that help us tune into this goodness, fostering a sense of inner peace and connection. Imagine holding a grudge against someone for a past hurt. By recognizing their basic goodness, just as you would your own, you create space for forgiveness. You understand that, like you, they are imperfect but capable of love and kindness. This realization softens your heart, making forgiveness possible and allowing love to flow freely. In summary, recognizing our basic goodness is the key to opening our hearts to forgiveness and unconditional love. Principle number 10 is recognizing our basic goodness, the path to forgiveness and unconditional love through seeing our shared humanity. Tara Brach explores how radical acceptance can transform the way we relate to others. By practicing mindfulness and compassion in our interactions, we can bring more presence and understanding to our relationships. This approach not only deepens our connection with others, but also creates space for healing and growth. Brach encourages us to see relationships as opportunities for awakening together. When we stop trying to change or control others and instead accept them as they are, we foster an environment of trust and love. Through radical acceptance, we allow ourselves and those around us to be fully seen and heard, which strengthens the bond between us. Picture a moment of tension with a loved one. Instead of reacting with frustration, you take a breath, pause, and approach the situation with mindfulness. By accepting their perspective without judgment, you invite a deeper connection. This practice of radical acceptance in relationships not only eases conflict but also encourages mutual healing and understanding. In summary, Practicing radical acceptance in relationships creates a foundation of trust and deepens emotional bonds. Principle number 11 is awakening together, deepening connection and healing through radical acceptance in relationships. In the final chapter, Tara Brach guides us toward the ultimate realization, our true nature beyond fear, judgment, and ego. She explains that awakening to the deeper awareness within us leads to inner freedom. When we let go of the identities shaped by our fears and self-criticisms, we can live from a place of true alignment with our essential self. Brach encourages us to see that our true nature is one of openness, love, and presence. By recognizing this, we free ourselves from the limitations imposed by our ego. This awakening helps us embrace life with deep acceptance, no longer reacting from conditioned habits, but instead living in harmony with our authentic self. Through practices of mindfulness and self-compassion, we can connect more fully to this awareness. Imagine a moment when you're caught in self-doubt or judgment. Instead of getting lost in the cycle, you take a step back and remember that these thoughts don't define you. In that pause, you reconnect with your true nature, a presence beyond your fears. This shift brings a sense of peace, allowing you to navigate life with more freedom and acceptance. In summary, realizing our true nature is about awakening to the awareness beyond ego, allowing us to live with inner freedom and alignment. Principle number 12 is realizing our true nature, finding inner freedom by awakening to the awareness beyond fear and ego. In Radical Acceptance, Tara Brach offers a transformative guide to embracing ourselves and others with compassion, mindfulness, and love. Through her teachings, we learn to break free from self-judgment, awaken to our true nature, and live from a place of deep acceptance. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you liked what you saw, a like would mean the world to me. It helps support the channel and lets me know you want to see more content like this. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.